And she tell me, I want to show something to you. And she have like I don't remember the name, but it's like a box, and inside there is a lot of information about the Japanese people. It's wrote in katakana, I guess. And she tell me the Japanese people came from the stars. And she tell me it's very important to follow me right now. And I say, where? Through the portals. And I say, okay. And I go through the portals. And when I go to the portals, we arrive in the dark. And suddenly she tell me, you know where you are. And I say, where? And she tell me, in Hawaii, inside the Mauna Kea, in another ark.
You're listening to Exopolitics Today with Dr. Michael Salla, your source for the uncensored truth regarding the human, extraterrestrial, global, and political agenda. Click the like button and subscribe to this channel. And now, here's Dr. Michael Salla.
It's my great pleasure to welcome Jean-Charles Moyen back to Exopolitics Today. Welcome, Jean-Charles.
Hello, Michael. How are you?
I'm very good. Well, I've been watching some videos of you concerning some experiences you had with Japan. And I remember you telling us last year about an experience, a teleportation experience you had with Elena. And this was in association with the Antarctica visit, where you both also went to Antarctica. But I can't remember if it was before, or I think it was just before you went to Tokyo. You both teleported to Tokyo. You were there at night in your pajamas in Tokyo. Elena and you saw each other and said, wow, what are we doing here like this? And so why don't you just explain what happened in that particular incident?
Yes, and the curious thing is, I remember, and Elena too, the people in the street look at us and like, who is this person? And I say, oh my God, they saw us. And after that, we walk and we try to talk with the people, but we don't understand because they don't speak English, they don't speak French, and in a few seconds, I disappear, and Elena was teleported. She was there only maybe to corroborate we were together at the same place, but Elena was beamed up to her house in Ireland, but not for me. I was in the front of Mount Fuji, and I say, why I'm here? And I was pulled back, and I wake up. This is the first part. But after that, I came back at the same place in the Mount Fuji, and I met the beings inside the Mount Fuji, and his name was Utsu. And she tell me, I am the guardian of the spaceship. I was in the big spaceship inside the mountain. And I remember, I say, oh my God, she know me, Utsu know me. And I say, when I was 6 or 7 years, I remember something. And after search in my box, because when I moved to France to Canada, I was my diaries. And when I was young, I wrote everything, like my drawing when I met Utsu for the first time. And this is in this diaries, I have two another drawing, like the Sphinx in Egypt, and everything I can write. I write everything when I was young. I take a picture. My dad take a diaries about everything. Maybe in the future we need this. So it's very important because with my diaries, I have the proof I met for the first time Utsu when I was young. But now I'm 53. So imagine it's 46 years ago. So I was, she know me. And she don't call me John Charles, she called me Oshi. And I say, Oshi, okay, what is Oshi? And Oshi means in English, star. And I say, oh, star, it's like a star seed, And it's curious because she called me Oshi. And she tell me, it's enough today, but the other, when you come back, I want to show something more, but now it's over. And I was in my bed at 55 hours, the same number sequence. And when I wake up, I was, oh my God, this is very accurate. And I remember everything in the spaceship. And after that, in 2 or 3 days, because
Well, before you go on, before you talk about the next incident, let's just kind of better understand what it was that you saw. So you teleported, and this all happened in December 2022.
Exactly.
That after the day or after that evening where you were in Tokyo with Elena, that and she has said a number of times that the Galactic Federation is teleporting her to different places where you go.
Yeah.
Not so much that she has an experience, but so that she can be a witness to you having an experience, which is corroboration for you. So you have a witness there that you teleported to Japan. So that supports your being able to teleport spontaneously or from home to Japan. So the second time you teleport to Mount Fuji, now you said you teleported inside. So did you teleport inside Mount Fuji and there was a spacecraft in front of you, or did you teleport inside of the spacecraft? And what did you see?
Inside. When I was young and I was 7, I was inside, but I remember like a space view, with the mountain, with a big spaceship. But now I was inside. And the first time I was in the dark, and in a second, it's light on, and it was very, very bright with, now I know it's not a kanji, it's a katakana. It's a old Japanese script. Miyoko tell me, she tell me, oh, it's not a kanji, Jean-Charles, it's a katakana. And I say, oh, I remember katakana, it's, for my memory, it's like a katana. Yes, you're right. It's katakana. So it's a katakana script in gold lightning in the spaceship. And when I approach to the board of the spaceship, it was a reaction like when I was in the front of the beings in the stasis. You remember in Antarctica, when I approach the light on of the stasis, I have an interaction with the ark. So it was the same thing in the Tibet. It was the same thing in Antarctica, and now it was the same thing when I was inside the Mount Fuji with the letter. And when I approached, the script was very gold, and there is a huge interaction with me. I feel inside of me a strong energy. I was in connection with this ark.
Okay, so you teleported inside of this ark or this ship,
yeah,
and you see things activate when you're
yes.
there. Things light up. You see this gold katakana Japanese script on the walls of the ship. What else did you see in the ship? Was there any kind of furniture? Was there any kind of instrumentation?
There is only a big board, but there is a lot of crystal, like a crystal, purple and blue crystal, and there is an inscription in the top, and in the middle of the room there is a big portal. Again, a portal like a light water, like a Stargate, exactly the same. Magnificent. She bright and she moved like a water, but it was a portal again inside the spaceship, this big spaceship.
Can you describe the portal? How did it look in the side the spaceship? Was it like a pool of water?
Yes, but it was not in the front of me, but it was on the roof, you know. It was when you touch it's like a water, but in levitation, you know. The water don't fall down but stay like this, but in horizontal, you know. It was I searched my word. it was in the top. So when you are in the top, you are stuck by the light. If you touch, instantly you teleport. Not in the front of you, just on the top, like a big a soap bubble, you know.
Oh, so like a big bubble. Well, that's similar to what JP described when he went into the Atlantic Ark, the Space Ark. He said he went into one room and there was this big kind of glowing blue bubble of water that was a portal, and actually when they saw that they were actually sent on that mission at that specific time, because at the same time a squad of 15 soldiers from the moon went into another portal in the Space Ark on the moon, and they teleported to that portal where JP was. And so JP and his squad pulled out the soldiers who came from the moon because they were shocked to suddenly find themselves in this bubble. So you saw something similar in this ship in Japan, in Mount Fuji. So how did you realize it was a ship and not, say, a room or something?
I don't understand.
Now, how did you know that where you were was like a spacecraft and not just like a room?
Oh, no, because I feel inside of me I was in the spacecraft. I'm not sure 100% I was in the room, but I think it's a room of the spacecraft. It's a feeling, you know. Usually when I teleport to the Kalash mountain or Antarctica, the spaceship have a very special vibration, you know, and it was the same feeling when I was inside, and I know I am on the spaceship, not on the room, but I am on a spaceship. I'm sure of that.
So tell us about Utsu, that you saw Utsu there at the spaceship. I mean, how did you talk to her? How did you communicate with her? And what did she tell you?
This is curious because everything she tell, I understand everything, like was translate automatically. Maybe she spoke another language, but at this moment, I don't know. I understand, she understand. It was easy. Not, I don't understand. No, everything was very clear, very clear.
Okay, and you recognized her. Well, firstly, maybe just to describe her, I know Elena showed a picture of a being from Sirius B.
Yeah, she looked like this. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. With a sapphire, blue eyes, with the black hair, with like a tail. And she have a suit, like a silver suit. Yes, she looked like this. Yeah.
That's interesting. I guess that's from one of Elena's books. I'm not sure if it's a gift from the stars, but
yes.
She described these beings, and of course they are very Asiatic looking, very Japanese looking.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so you have that experience with Utsu. Now, when did you kind of recognize that Utsu and what you experienced in Mount Fuji was something that you had experienced when you were 7? How did you make that connection?
Yes, it's the first time?
Yes. When did you realize? I mean, were you there and this is what I remember? Or did you get home and then thought, oh my God, this is what happened when I was young?
When I wake up, I was, this is very familiar for me. And when I was young, I talked with my family. I live in the past life in Japan, and they say, "Oh, okay." It was usually in my in my family with open minds and okay. And where? And I say, "Oh, I my past life was at Sendai, and I live in." I remember the date was 1175 at the feudal Japan with the emperor, and I live with my wife, with my two child, and we were invitation by an emperor, and there is something wrong in the castle, and he want my wife, and she don't want, and he was very angry, and he decided to kill every people in the village where I live, and I was escape only me in the mountain with a monk, and Miyoko search, and Mariko too, and they discover at the same moment in the history of Japan, he exists Sendai, and the same incident with these people was eliminated by an emperor. And so it was
before you continue, Jean-Charles, maybe you should just explain who Miyoko and Marika is, because they were two interviewees from Japan.
Yes.
who did some research, historical research into what you described. So yeah, just explain who they were and what they confirmed about this incident in feudal Japan that matched what you remembered as a 7-year-old.
Yes, Miyoko Sano is like you, my friend. It's a person who want to disclosure everything about extraterrestrial and space secret and abduction and starseed, and she's very popular in Japan. And Mariko again is the same thing, do the same thing. So this is two incredible person, and they received me to her show and explain what I live when I was young with Utsu and now with Elena. And she tell me, because she's Japanese, she made a historian research, and they discovered something very strange about my story about Utsu, because in Japanese they talk about in I think it's 18th century. They have a legend about a mysterious woman called Utsu Borone, something like, and she was a part of this mountain, and they describe a UFO, and in every legend in Japan, they talk about this story, this strange story. And you know, in my drawing, I draw the Mount Fuji with the same beings, Utsu, and she tell me, my name is Utsu, and I write there is a 46 years the same spaceship and the same woman with the same name, and I described like behind the portal, the Chinese shrink. I think it's I don't remember the name in Japan, but she tell me, Miyoko and Mariko, it's a portal to enter to another world, another dimension, because there is a lot of mythology inside the Japan, and each thing I tell and I describe, everything she found an explanation, amazing explanation, and everything is linked, every dots focus at the same thing. And she made a research, amazing research about what I explained, and what about my meeting with Utsu, and after with another beings, and everything corroborates. And this information, I can invent information. Like some people say, oh, he's a liar and blah, blah, blah. It's impossible. Right now, we have a proof of something I tell about the history of Japan, and I can know this information because it's inside the mythology of Japan, the history. And there is a guy named Masa, a friend of Mariko. He's a historian. Guys, he searched during 20 years ago about mythology of Japanese god, and he found a huge information about what I say, and everything again corroborates. So it's very amazing proof and evidence again about what I say in my link to the Japan, because I have in my body DNA of Japanese. If people don't know what I say, because in my family, in the side of my father, there is a Japanese blood. So this is the explanation.
Well, I think this is very important, what you just said, and something that needs to be emphasized. And I think that's what makes you kind of unique among many secret space program whistleblowers or insiders, is that you actually have evidence supporting your experiences. I mean, you have Elena seeing you teleport to Tokyo, and now you found this document when you were a child, when you were 7 years old, this diary entry that you made as a 7-year-old that really just corroborates what you said. And in this document, you can see the date. What is it? 7 of April 1976. As a 7-year-old, you hand wrote about your experience, where I guess you teleported to Japan, to Mount Fuji, and so people can see the drawing, Mount Fuji and the spacecraft inside, and you drew this female and called Utsu, and this is what you wrote. This was translated. I got this, I guess Elena or someone translated it, but so do you want to read it out, or shall I?
You can read it.
Okay.
Read it.
Okay, so this is what Jean-Charles wrote. In 1976, he's 7 years old. He's had this experience of teleporting to Tokyo, to Mount Fuji. And this is what he wrote. Last night, I was in the mountains in Japan at Mount Fuji. There was a lot of white light, and there was a very kind Japanese lady. She told me her name, Utsu, and she said, hello, Hoshi, but my name is Jean-Charles. Why did she call me like that? I like Hoshi. It's beautiful. We were in a big spaceship in the mountain. There is the drawing. Hoshi means star in Japanese. So of course you have the drawing and all of that. So this is quite remarkable, because this is evidence. I mean, this is evidence that you had this experience at 7 years old, and that as in 2022, 47 years or something after that incident, you're back there and you're at Mount Fuji. You see Utsu, you're inside of the spacecraft, and so this is very powerful evidence supporting what you said. Because I mean, people say, well, they made that up. Someone makes up these fanciful claims about secret space programs, but here you have a diary entry written in your handwriting at 7 years old.
And my diary is not only for Japan, because you remember they're 1 or 2 years together when I show you my drawing about Sphinx when I was in Egypt with a secret tunnel discovered a few years ago, but I was again 7 or 8 years, and the drawing about Bermuda Triangle, and I have a lot of proof. It's not only a diary about Japan. There is a lot of drawing inside. When I met Maria in the spaceship, I wrote everything too. It's crazy because this maybe it's a French, but people don't know. But this is a very old diary made just only in France. It's a super concurrent. It's a brand. It's a brand only in France. People say that there is a lot of things.
Well, it's documentary evidence, Jean-Charles, because
Yes.
in a court of law, you can show that this was written back. They can do carbon dating of the writing, and they can say, yeah, this was written in 1976, and you were 7 years old.
Oh yes. If we test in the carbon 14, we will be surprised because everything is at this date, was created at this date when I wrote. And my parents can testimony too. They don't testimony Japanese experience because I don't spoke about that. It was my personal experience, and it was not a link at this moment for Starsuit Revelation 2. So my parents disclosure what they remember about Men in Black, about directed energy weapon, etc. in the Space Force. But if I ask, do you remember that? They say, okay, but you don't ask the question. Yeah, and at this moment, if I say, oh, now we can testimony about martial arts, and my parents say, yes, no problem, my son. We remember when we was young, you said, oh, I was in the past life in Japan, in the Sendai. Oh, really interesting. And where? I was with my wife, and she died in my home. She was killed because she protect me, and she take me in the front of the arrow, and she take a arrow in the back, and she died in my arm. And I remember everything when I was 7, and then I spoke with my little friend, and I was living in Japan in the past life, and they mock me, and okay, you're silly, you're crazy. But the people know me since 40 or 50 years when I was young, can testimony of, yes, I remember the story of Japan with John Child, and with the story about secret space program too. But I was not only Japan, I was Japan, secret space program, and my life is like a movie, but it's true. I have a lot of experiences in my life, and it's crazy. And now I disclose some information because the time is come, and I think the boomerang, come back. And when the universe make your path, everything is right in the universe. The time is come, and now the Japan come to me, and I was very grateful for that, because the research Mariko does and Miyoko, it's insane, because there is I have a chills, because it's crazy. They found some picture and some information only in Japanese, and they translate for me because I don't read the Japanese, and it's right. Some information I can invent, and I'm very emotional for that, because it's crazy, because each time I tell something, I have a chance, I have a proof, I have a proof. And when I was young, I decided to learn the Japanese, but it was very, very very hard to learn, so I give up. But everything was there in my life to
Well, Jean-Charles, I just wanted to kind of like just bring back this document that I think is very, this historical research that you were referring to. This is very significant. Again, it's more evidence.
Yes.
You said. I mean, here you are, 7 years old. You're in France. You say you have this experience with this lady in Mount Fuji called Utsu. But and as you're saying, Miyoko and Mariko, they
Yes.
found historical documents, and here you have
Yes.
a spacecraft in some historical Japanese documents, a
Mhm.
spacecraft, and you have a being or a protector, and her name is Itsuru. So, Utsu is just a contraction of that. So here's,
Exactly.
again, more evidence supporting your claims.
Exactly. And the spaceship looked like strangely with the same detail. And she tell me, oh, it's very important because there is a sun with the birds, and it's very important in a Japanese mythology, the sun god, and the birds. Everything is in this drawing. Every detail. I was a child when I draw, but I don't think each detail in 46 years have a signification very important. And the Japanese people, historian, say, oh my God, did you see that? And I say, what? And she accurate every detail, and okay, this is linked to, a link to, a link to, and it's not enough. Because after that, I came back again and I met another beings.
So tell us about that.
Yes. Do you want to explain?
Yes, please. Tell us about that, going back and meeting the other being.
I came back to the Mount Fuji, and Utsu was there again, and she tell me, because first of all, I was on my bed and I say, I want answer. And in a second, I heard something in my ears, very, very tremble, like and I was pulled back, and when I opened my eyes, I was in the front of Utsu, and she tell me, hey Oshi, did you hear my signal? And I say, is that you? And she say, yes, I want to introduce somebody very important for me. And in the portal, there is a light, and beings appear. And she tell me, hello, my name is Kono. I'm a part of this mountain. And I was very emotional because when she appeared in front of me, I have a tattoo on my body, okay? I have a dragon on my chest, and it go back, and I was a phoenix too. And at this moment, when I was in the front of this beautiful woman, my skin burn, and my tattoo light on and light off. Imagine. And I was a link with these beings. And Mariko tell me, this is the goddess of the Mount Fuji, and she's apparently linked with the fire, with the dragon of fire. And Utsu is a water dragon. So we have the water and the fire. And she explained to me, it's amazing detail, because everything you tell is linked and corroborate with the legend. And she tell me, I want to show something to you. And she have I don't remember the name, but it's like a box, and inside there is a lot of information about the Japanese people. It's wrote in katakana, I guess. And she tell me, the Japanese people came from the stars. And she tell me, it's very important to follow me right now. And I say, where? Through the portals. And I say, okay. And I go through the portals. And when I go to the portals, we arrive in the dark. And suddenly she tell me, you know where you are. And I say, where? And she tell me, in Hawaii, into inside the Mauna Kea in another ark. And after that, I continue.
That is amazing. So it sounds like this goddess, Kono,
Yes.
is somehow associated with, I guess, the elements of Mount Fuji. Now, just to be clear, the Space Ark in Mount Fuji, Utsu is the custodian of the Space Ark, or is it Kono who's the custodian of the Space Ark in Mount Fuji?
Utsu is the guardian of this ark, and Kono is the part of the mountain. This is what she said to me. And when Kono appeared, Utsu bent her head in the thing of respect. And there is something very strange, because there is a love around, something very strong, like unconditional love, you know. It was like a hot surround me, and I was very emotional. And at this moment, I think I am at the right place. This is my X, you know. I was on my X. And after that, we go through the portal, and we appear to the Mauna Kea. And after that, she tell me, and I wake up. At this moment, I wake up. This is very important, because it's 1, 2, 3 parts of my travel, you know. It was enough for this night. And after that, I send you an email, and you tell me we go to interview, and I say, I just have the information when I was in the Mauna Kea, but that's it. And I say, okay, I try to have an answer, more answer. And the other night, I was teleported again in the Mauna Kea. And I was in the dark, and I say, light, nothing. And I say, it's me, it's Oshi, and everything light on. It was insane. And Kono was in the front of me and tell me, hello, Oshi, and follow me. And we arrive in the front of a big panel, like a board, with a crystal again. There is some inscription, but not katakana, or it was different. It was, I can't tell what sort, but it was a mix of Japanese and something else. It was like a glyph, you know. And she told me, put your hand here. And at this moment, it appeared like a form of hand in a metal liquid. It was exactly the same hand of mine. And she told me, put your hand in this form. And I put my hand, and at this moment, I feel energy, lightning, and I saw my vein with a light. I see through my skin, and everything move like an earthquake, you know. And it appeared in a big hologram in the front of me and Kono, turn in the space, and it was the view of Hawaiian Island, everything. And she was connection, and she explained to me, every volcano is connected by tunnel, by secret tunnel, to go through a different portal and go through different enter to the center of Earth. And somebody named to Agatha, the inner world. And I was, oh my God. And imagine, I saw the hologram. It was very, very futuristic, okay? And she told me, every ark in the world is connected by a portal. We can travel each ark by the portal.
That's very important, because we've already talked about that, the portal connections. between the different arcs, the Atlantic and the arc on the moon, and then there's the arc in Antarctica, one in Mount Fuji. Now, you saw different script, and that kind of matches what we know about these arcs, that different civilizations. Elena talked about 24 pseudo civilizations that created these arcs many hundreds of thousands of years ago, and different extraterrestrial groups created an arc for their human experiment, and each one has a different language and different culture. So right there, the fact that the one in Japan, the Space Ark, had katakana, that script of Japan, and here in Hawaii you saw another alphabet you didn't recognize that was kind of glyphs. So maybe that was related to the ancient Polynesian culture, like the Lemurians, for example.
Yes, and very important, because I have a lot of thing in my head, because it's amazing. Very important, my friend. When I was in Mount Fuji, Utsu tell me the name of the ark. She have a name, and I say, what is the name of her ark? And she tell me the name is Omega, the ark of Omega. And I share this information to Mariko, and Mariko has lived in Hawaii in the feet of Mauna Kea during 10 years, and she tell me she connected with beings exactly like the beings I described, white skinned and blue eyes, and she tell me, do you know the name of the ark in the Mauna Kea? And I say, no. You have a name too? And she tell me the name is Alpha. And I say, Alpha? And I say, yeah, we are Alpha and Omega. It's insane. Could you imagine? The Alpha and Omega?
That is
connected. Mauna Kea and Mount Fuji connected. And there is a lot of people, Japanese people, live in Hawaii. It's not a chance, because there is a connection with Hawaiian people and Japanese people, And when I was in Big Island to visit you, my friend, we were in a Jeep, and we drive with Melanie, and we stop suddenly because I saw a cemetery in the front, and I say, oh, hold on, I want to go to this cemetery. It was a cemetery with only Japanese grave, and I don't know why, but I stand in the front of an old Japanese grave with an old inscription, and Melanie, take a picture. I keep this picture in my computer, and I don't know what it's right, And yesterday, I decide to send the picture with this Japanese inscription to Mariko and to Miyoko, and she tell me is right, Nanjiru, and what do you say? And it's a samurai of light. How many chance to stand in the grave? I don't know. I can't read the Japanese, And it's an old stone with this inscription. It's very, very, very old. And she tell me it's right, this. And it's like a chivalry of light. It's curious.
Yes, it sounds like there's some sort of connection between Hawaii's Mauna Kea volcano and Mount Fuji, also an active, or it's not really dormant. It has erupted in recent history. So Mount Fuji is a volcano, as Mauna Kea. An interesting, Okono is the fire goddess of Mount Fuji. And of course, with Mauna Kea and the Hawaiian Islands, you have Pele, who is the fire goddess of the mountain. So, you know, that would be an interesting question, is like, what's the relationship between Pele and Kono? Are they kind of like sisters? What I don't know if that ever came up in your discussions.
And you know, the Mauna Kea is the mountain more higher of the world, and she's connected with another mountain in the universe, the Olympus Mons in a Mars planet. And she's connected by a portal.
Mm-hmm.
And she called the God Mountain. So we are in the God too, and in the Hawaiian historian, they explain that the God came from the stars and go down to the Mauna Kea. And it's curious because we were in Mauna Kea together with Melanie there with 3 years, and I remember feeling something very strong at this place where I asked the hand of my wife, but it was not only sing, I feel the energy, and I remember for the rest of my life. And now I am again, but inside the Mauna Kea, with everything we know, everything about me, about my energy, about there is something very strange about the link of Mount Fuji again with Mauna Kea. And you know a lot of history and mythology, my friend, about Hawaii, because we live a lot of years now.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting that you proposed to Melanie on the summit of Mauna Kea, because I actually did the same thing with my wife Angelica. Proposed to her on the solstice, December 21st, 2004. On the summit of Mauna Kea that I proposed to her, and we kind of did a little ceremony up there for ourselves. So Mauna Kea is very important in terms of an energy portal. It's recognized throughout the world as a really powerful energy vortex. And of course it is, as you said, if you measure it from its base to the summit, it's the tallest mountain in the world, because even though Mauna Kea is like 14,300 feet or whatever above the ocean's surface, it extends down to the bottom of the ocean another 20,000 feet or so. And so it's larger, it's bigger from the base to the summit than Mount Everest. So it's a very powerful portal. So this craft that you saw inside of Mauna Kea, can you describe it? I mean, what did it look like? Was it similar to the one that you drew as a 7-year-old inside of Mount Fuji?
No, because I was inside for this time, so I don't see the outside of the spaceship. I was inside, but it was very bright with the crystal too. There is a lot of crystal, purple and blue crystal on the board. And with this inscription, maybe it's a Mesopotamian or Atlantis, or I feel, for me, there is something in connection. This is my feeling, okay, with the Mu. You know, the people of Mu, like Atlantis. I don't know is the right word. Mu.
Mu, Lemuria.
Yes, exactly. Because at this moment there was a lot of technology, alien technology. We know that when we do a research, and there is extraterrestrial technology. The Lemuria have advanced about some amazing things. So maybe this arc date at this moment of Lemuria, but for me it wasn't Japanese. It was different. I never saw the Lemurian script. I don't know if there is something found. They found the Lemurian script? No, the Lemurian script? No.
No, there's no record as far as I know of the Lemurian language found anywhere.
Lemurian language, but it was very different. No bolt, every was pure. Again, a portal in the middle, at the same place, and she tell me everything is linked, and every volcano is a enter to the center of the world inside. She tell me there is an intraterrestrial people, they live, and every volcano is a tunnel, everything in the world, under the sea and under a lot of kilometers, and there is a road, like a road. And when I saw the road, it was like a road of light, you know, in a tunnel with the hologram turn like this. And it was the Hawaiian island, Big Island, Kauai, and each island. And it was very accurate, very detailed. And she tell me, look, and I was I was amazed. It was wow. And I have this feeling inside that a link again with this arc. And I say, oh my God, I can't link with each arc. Tibet and Antarctica and Mount Fuji, and now Mauna Kea. It's a strong link. But when I am in this arc, I feel the energy, like he tried to communicate with me, and I have an interaction with the arc, because when I go to in the front of something, the light on and the light off, so there is a real reaction, you know.
Well, in doing my research on the arcs, I found Dolores Cannon had done a lot of past life regressions on her clients, and some of them talked about these ancient space arcs that would come, would appear over the skies, and they described many of them. They were very large, and they would appear all over the earth at a time of great cataclysm, and that the population would be given the opportunity to escape, get on the craft, and then they would be taken off planet for some time. It would appear to them to be short, but then in fact, when they returned, centuries or thousands of years had passed on the earth, and so they would essentially reseed the population, reseed the planet. So now the question I have for you is, while you've had these experiences now with 4 arcs, do you feel this is because you are going to be a part of, or you're helping raise awareness of the mission of these arcs, which is to play an important role at a transition? It doesn't mean there's going to be a disaster. It could also be a kind of an awakening or sharing the advanced technology. So what do you think the purpose is for you being taken to these different arcs in, as you said, Mount Fuji, Antarctica, Mount Everest, and of course there in Mauna Kea?
Honestly, my friend, I don't know, but I'm sure of something. There is much evidence I have a link with this arc. That's we are 100% sure, because for the Mauna Kea and for the Mount Fuji, and there is a lot of people at this moment when we talk together made a research about what I say, and there is every day I receive an email with the people, historian, or they know the mythology, and they describe something very strange and very emotional for me, because they tell me they know who I am. And some people say, maybe it's not me. Maybe I am a son of Kono.
Well,
I am in a family link with these beings.
Well, I remember you saying when you were in the Antarctica arc that you saw a sarcophagus or some crypt-like structure, and you saw this giant blue being in there, and you
Yes.
felt a strong attraction. And I think you said something that you thought that may have been your avatar, that you were a member of the crew. So do you remember anything?
No. I don't think I have an avatar in stasis in Antarctica. I think I was like you say, and you and another people, a lot of people say that I am a key. I am a key because my DNA is very special and like a GP. And I don't know how now, but I think and I know the universe accelerate now the disclosure for this time, because in 1 or 2 weeks the Japan rise very, very quick for me, and a lot of people say to me information and give me information, and it's wake up memory for me, and for my tattoo, for something in my diaries, for Utsu, who is Utsu, and Kono family, and do you know this history of Kono? And they discover a guy named Tengu, Tingu, and it was something, a being is very important in the mythology of Japan. And some people say, oh, you look like Tengu. And there is a lot of people research my link, but they're sure I have a very strong link with the disclosure about Japan and about something else. But for me, I'm very humble, you know. It's very important to clarify, because some people say, oh, you look like a god and you want to be a god. And no, I'm John Charles. And I have special abilities, like when I was young and I don't understand everything and I don't have all answer, but I'm sure I'm a part of this big disclosure for the world. I'm sure of that. And there is much more evidence about that, about this all arc and all things. And every day I discovered something new every day. And when we've finished our interview, maybe tonight and tomorrow, I have another information. And this is a very strong information. And sometimes I'm alone in my office and I'm very emotional, because I don't understand everything happened to my life. It's crazy. How can I share this information? People say, oh, it's a crazy. Yes, it's a crazy. It's crazy for you, but it's crazy for me, because everything is right in my book. And when I was young, I explained naturally when I live. And now the time is come to disclosure my life, and I don't say everything because I'm afraid to tell everything. And I go piece by piece, and it's not easy, you know. And I'm very grateful that you, my friend, give me the opportunity to explain my life. And it's not easy every day. It's not easy every day, because when I live something.
Of course, anyone that's speaking the truth on these topics of space arcs and of inner Earth civilizations, they're always going to be targets, because there are people and forces that want to keep this secret. But you're clearly part of that movement group that are trying to expose this. And I know JP, in his latest update, he talked about the inner Earth civilization working with the Nordics or the Galactic Federation, and they're coordinating the inner Earth beings or civilizations opening up, meeting more with surface humanity. They're coordinating that with the Galactic Federation, ships appearing more in the skies, and that this also is associated with the arcs being activated. So what you've described is a part of this it seems to be a big plan that's unfolding, and what you're doing seems to be a key part of that plan.
Hmm. Yeah. I think there is a lot of people is the king, and everything is in at the right place to have a big disclosure right now. And I think there is a battle between the dark side and the bright side. It's evident. There is a lot of people who want to target us, and they invent some strong thing against us. And I think the people follow us are very intelligent and bright, and feel our feeling, and follow our feeling to some I don't, sorry,
Intuition.
yes, intuition, yes, right. They follow our intuition, and because it's very difficult now to feel the right thing, and this is the truth. And like I say every day, nobody has the truth. We have a piece of truth, each of us, and if we work together, maybe we have a picture of the truth. But it's like secret space program or ultra space program. There is a many secret space program, not 1 or 10 or 100. There is a many. So we don't know each program. There is a bad program, there is a good program, but some people think secret space program equal bad program. That's not right, because if you have a good side, there is a bad side. Each side, so there is a good secret space program in the universe. They defend the universe. They defend the people against Draco, against a lot of species in the space. And this is a secret because nobody knows, but secret space program or hidden space program. Call what you want, but this is a space program to protect the humanity. And some people, unfortunately, have the same bag. Oh, ECSP is bad. Reptilian is bad. Not every reptilian is bad. Draco is bad. Not every reptilian. Like a human, there is a good human and a bad human. It's all that. So it's very important to clarify there is something important happen in the universe right away now, and nobody can stop the disclosure coming. I'm 100% sure of that. And we are, you, my friend, me, and a lot of people, we are at the right place in this moment.
Well, there's no doubt that really profound changes are happening right now. And of course, you live in Canada, in Montreal, Quebec, and you had just a couple of weeks ago these incidents of the UFOs flying over the United States and over Canada and being shot down. Now, do you have any kind of insight or understanding of these? What are they? I mean, is this part of the plan? Is this really just to kind of like, because to me it all of a sudden transformed UFOs from something that was ridiculed by most people to suddenly all of a sudden everyone's talking about UFOs. So is this part of the plan to open humanity up to the reality of the extraterrestrial presence?
I think you're right for everything you tell. This is too ridiculous UFO. This is the part of a plan. Maybe for the hologram plan, the Blue Beam project, maybe it's, but it's not extraterrestrial. Why? Because they have advanced technology, my friend, 1 million years, and they can't be shot in with a toy of humans. It's insane to believe that. Some people say, oh, the extraterrestrial, we shoot and you're crazy. You think these beings through the galaxy and they arrive and pow? No, you're kidding me. So I think it's but it's very strange. There is a lot of UFO in a different country in the world at the same moment. In 3 or 4 days, there are many observations. So I think yes, it's a plane, but for what? Maybe to afraid people, maybe to prepare something big. You know what I mean? So they can't stop what come, So when I saw, like you, the information, now there is a lot of UFO and they shot, I say, what's a joke? What's a joke? And people believe that. So if you're intelligent and you say they're the beings travel in the universe in a more light speed, can you believe it's easy to shot a UFO? They can go to the 3 or 5 times the light speed. No. Voilà.
Well, I know one of the things that a lot of people are wanting to kind of like understand is this agreement that, or this a plan that Elena Danaan described, where she said she saw through the eyes of Thorhan him giving a plan to this 4-star general at this facility in the Blue Ridge Mountains, which we later identified to be Raven Rock Mountain Complex, that he gave a disclosure plan to the general, to the 4-star general, and later Elena was able to identify that general as Glenn Van Herk.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that this is the same general that all of a sudden is now in charge, or that people now know, because he was in charge of, or is in charge of NORAD, and is in charge of Northern Command. And so this is the American military command system set up to defend the United States and Canada. And this is who was ordered to shoot down these UFOs. So you have to think, well, is there a connection? I mean, if there really was a plan given to this General Glenn Van Herk, and then a few weeks later, he's being ordered to shoot down these UFOs, and everyone's talking about UFOs. Is this an accident, or is this the plan unfolding?
I don't think it's an accident. I think everything is prepared, and I think they know everything they do. Everything is calculated, and I think they phone each other and say, okay, because it's impossible. Why now in the 2 days there is a few UFO in the sky, in the world at the same moment? The chance is very poor, So I think everything is prepared. Prepare for what? There is something. There is a plan. It's impossible. It's not a chance. I'm 100 sure it's not a chance. But maybe it's to prepare humanity to disclosure. Because if we go to the sky with the UFO, people say, oh, we are not alone. And after that, in our mind is preparing. And yes, we discover an exoplanet. Oh, yes. And after that, they're coming. And and people don't be afraid, Maybe it's a part of the plan to disclosure slowly the information. We are not alone, but there is a very hard job, because they are again at this moment. People don't know we are alone. The people say we are alone, and I say, you're kidding me? You think we are alone? With the John Webb telescope, they discovered each time a Milky Way, each day a new planet, a new exoplanet. Like, Earth, and you believe we are alone, and maybe not for people. So I think there is a lot of different side of this lecture. Like maybe it's a plan for the deep state, maybe it's a plan for the bright side to disclosure slowly, and there is a lot of possibility, you know. It's very hard because I believe some people play with a different timeline, you know, with the CERN. There is some, because nobody talk about the new Hadron Collider in the CERN. It's working now, a new Hadron Collider in the CERN, and more stronger that you never imagine. And for what? For create a new reality, for you know, like there is something very important with Switzerland, with the CERN right now. They open a portal, they open a black hole, and there is a lot of beings get out this portal, and there is some people say a strange story, and then there is a shutdown in all the country, and there is a lightning in the purple lightning, and some cry and some shout strange creature, and some people say there is something very strong happening in the CERN, and there is 1 or 2 months. And it's curious because everything is linked, you know. Now it's a UFO, and today and next week it was what? It was a big mother spaceship over each city in the Earth. Maybe they prepare something. They prepare something. I'm sure. If something good, something bad, but it's something.
Well, I think we are really at a time when a lot of the truth is going to come out, and there is this battle between the dark and the light forces. And I think every time the dark forces, the deep state, tries to do something, whether it's a false flag attack, whether it's involving conventional things, or if it involves some sort of alien contrived thing, the White Hats, the Earth Alliance, is able to kind of like, almost like in jiu-jitsu, where you redirect the opponent's force against themselves to weaken them. So whatever the deep state does, it's redirected by the White Hats. So I think I feel that this is going to be a really monumental year. So Jean-Charles, in finishing up, anything you'd like to say to people about your projects? I know you're working on a new film. You just came out recently with Starseed Revelations 2, the English edition of that. So, well, what's your latest project, and where can people find you?
Actually, I work very hard for the South Shore 2 Origin. And it's very hard because I not give up. During 3 years, the world stopped. So it's very hard to go to inside the movie because I have a problem with the timeline, you know, because everybody's changed, and but I work very hard, and I hope finish my movie this year, and I hope in many months. This is South Shore Origin 2, and I want to write a book. You know? Huh? Whoa, it's a good project, but it's a huge project because I have a lot of information and a new information about Japan. So maybe it's a lot of book, not just one. And we can find my movie to the Vimeo. Just type in a Google Internet, type my Revelation Starseed Revelation. In French it's Revelation Starseed, but in English it's inverse. In English it's Starseed Revelation 1 and Starseed Revelation 2. in English language dubbing. So you can find everything you need. And my channel, YouTube, Connection Alien. In this channel, you can find my 15 capsule about my life. We explain who I am and what I live with my parents and with my friend and everything you need to me. And the next very big, exciting thing is Orlando in October in 20, 21, 23. It's 3 days in Orlando with a lot of amazing speakers, my friend. And it will be again amazing gathering for a huge disclosure with a new information. And I hope everybody will be here like the next year, the past year. So thank you very much to follow me. Thank you very much for people sending me love, light, and email. I appreciate that very much. And thank you from the bottom of my heart to receive me again to your show, my friend Michael. And thank you again.
Well, thank you, Jean-Charles. And I do look forward to seeing you at the Galactic Spiritual Informers Connection Conference in October. I think it is the 21st or 23rd in Orlando. I'll be there. You'll be there. So look forward to seeing a lot of people. So thank you and aloha.
Thank you very much.
You have been listening to Exopolitics Today with Dr. Michael Salla. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Join or start a conversation in the comments. Take the time to explore the vast library of best-selling books, webinars, and podcasts by Dr. Salla. Visit exopoliticstoday.com.